Jagjit was one of the oldest pupils in the class. She was very quiet, but she was very, very attentive, which was always lovely to see. In the classroom, she sat at the front. Normally, children that sit at the front either need extra support or they're not behaving as well as they should. But I reckoned I didn't see any of those needs in Jagjit at all. When I looked at her work, I noticed, however, that she had been given a lot of support to write a single sentence, whilst the children in the classroom were writing fluently. Somehow I recognized that Jagjit was able to do more than this. Whenever I spoke to her, she would give me elaborate language about what she did at home, what she thought about the news round we'd watched. I was always very intrigued to have a conversation with her. She was always engaging, fun, and fluent. Whenever we came to writing anything, I noticed what had been left for her as I was a visiting teacher. It always seemed to me that she was able to do more. So one day we started discussing world affairs. We started to discuss people that have made a good impact on the world. We talked about Martin Luther. We talked about so many people that the children were inspired by. So I decided to give the children a task. I told them that they were all newspaper editors and they had to research their favorite heroine, famous inventor, scientist, who inspired them. As they began to write, I wandered around the classroom and I could see that the more able children were writing in detail, there was beautiful writing, there was beautiful flow, and in fact with beautiful music playing, all the children were engaged, which I loved to see. After a while, I said to the children, I'm going to choose someone to present their work. I looked at Jagjit through the corner of my eye and I sensed that she thought, there is no way I'm going to stand up and read mine. As I wandered discreetly over in her corner, I began to read what she had written. I gasped quietly because her work was so amazing, and I wondered how many people, how many children in this classroom know how amazingly she writes. She flowed so beautifully on paper. And as she began to flow, I noticed, as others were collaborating, she was simply happy to continue in her own little world because there was so much she wanted to give and so much she wanted to say. So I actually allowed the children to continue writing for as long as they wanted. It was a beautiful moment. And in that beautiful moment, there was this beautiful creativity being shared. And as she began to write, I noticed that there were some wonderful words, elaborate words being used, and she had a little smile on her face. I enjoyed that because I recognized that that beautiful smile meant that she was in her learning zone. She was using creativity and she was able to write unhindered because there was just no limitations. No limitations is one of the key things that's absolutely needed I decided to pick her work up and walk around the classroom and look at others. I read it, I smiled, and I put it back. I then asked the children who would like to read what they'd written. All the more able children's hands shot up. I allowed child after child to just stand and share what I could see they were very proud of. I decided discreetly to take Jagjit's work because I decided I would read it. As each child presented their inspirational text, I then said to the children, I'd like to read one anonymously. They all agreed they'd like to hear the anonymous contribution. I began to read what she had written. Over 30 million children worldwide suffer from disabling loss. I'm really proud of the children of Africa that invented a contraption that turned air into water. I'd like to know more about this group, as I too am interested in world-changing adventures. I'm really excited to share that I have been researching on the Uganda vertical farm. There's a lot of people there. The population engages in farming a lot, and there has been rapid improvement. She went on and on into detail about Kenya, detail about magic water. She gave an hypothesis about what would happen in 2023 to 2024. And in the end, she concluded her inspirational piece by stating, one day, I too would like to become an inventor. All the children applauded before I asked them to, and I asked them to guess who had written that wonderful piece. Unsurprisingly, a lot of the children pointed to the back of the classroom where all the more able children gathered together and had supported each other with their piece of writing. I smiled, a really big smile, and stated, will the real owner of this article stand up? After a few seconds, Jagjit stood up. Almost like a choir in unison, everybody's mouth dropped open. I asked them why they were so surprised. They looked a little bit coy and then stated, I think it's because we've been judging this. We didn't know how talented she was. And I agreed, and I said yes. All it takes is not to think outside the box, but remove the box completely. We've all got talents. Let's use them.